Well, it is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 4:30, on Sunday, September 17th. And guess what? Finally, I'm out here alone on my boat. It's taken, oh man, all kinds of weird stuff, but finally made it. Leaving the coast of Ensenada, going to spend the night, and it should be pretty fun. So, without any further ado, let me turn the camera around so you can see what's really cool out there. That's the coast of Ensenada, the hotel that I was just at, marina there. And then if you go farther, there's a whole area there. There's cruise ships and all that stuff that come on down here to Ensenada. And I did that years ago as a young man. They dump you off, and there's the same vendors, the same cheap merchandise lining the walkways as you get off the boat, so you can get a souvenir. Of course, up top there is the cockpit where I'll be spending quite a bit of time. In the evening, though, you can drive everything from inside the boat, no problem. I have plenty of provisions. Oh, I think this is someone calling for me. Just a minute. Hold on. This is the Relentless. Come in. Well, maybe he didn't want to talk. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, here I am. Now, let's go back, show you the good stuff. I'm walking out the front now. You don't want to see me. You want to see this.
Got out of town on a boat going to Southern Islands, sailing to reach before a following sea. She was making for the trades on the outside and the downhill run to Papa Ede. Off the wind on this heading line, the Marquesas. You got 80 feet of a water line, nicely making way in a noisy bar.
Okay, way off there in the distance. Trying to get you close up. That little point there, that's actually the mainland. It juts out, and you got this little peninsula there. That's about 4.5 nautical miles from where we're at right now. We're not going to go to it. We're going to be traveling a little bit to the north of it, because there is an island over here. There it is. And we're going to head over there and kind of go between the two of them, kind of go around the island. I'm waiting just a little bit longer to get out in super fresh water so we can start using our water maker. You might be wondering how fast we're traveling. You can see that it says we're going 5.81 knots according to one of my screens. The other one says 6.1 knots, so go figure. One's probably measuring speed over ground, and the other's measuring just speed, flat out speed. So I assume that this one's speed over ground, because it's also monitoring the depth. Right now we're at 106, you get it, feet of water. And the old joke is, in the ocean, even the Pacific, you're never more than 5 or 6 miles from land, either horizontally or vertically. Well, I mentioned to you that there's a port in Ensenada where all the touristas go, and you are looking at one of the big old boats that's crossing our stern. It's kind of a little bit of concern to me that my alarm didn't go off. I have a radar alarm when something comes within a certain circle of me. But I think it doesn't go off, but if it knows it's the boat, no matter how big, is not on the collision course. So this guy's about, I'm guessing, 400 yards, 500 yards away, maybe a quarter mile. And all the touristas are having dinner now. And there you go. There's a big old boat. These islands that I'm passing now to my south, that point is called Bandos. And the bay is, I'm going to tell you in a minute because I forgot the name of it already. This, though, the thing that looks like hammerhead, that's called Isle de Santos. Isle de Santos, off the coast of Ensenada. Okay, it's official. The day we just left, on which Ensenada sits, beautiful. It's called All Saints Bay. So you got All Saints Bay, and you got Bantos here. At this point that we're passing right now, myself. And finally, you have Isle de los Santos, right there. The one that looks like Campbell.
And you know it will. When you see the Southern Cross for the first time, you understand now why you came this way. 'Cause the truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as the promise of a coming day. So I'm sailing for tomorrow, my dreams are a-dying, and my love is an anchor tied to you, tied with a silver chain. I have my ship and all her flags are a-flying. She is all that I have left, and music is her name. Think about how many times I have fallen. Spirits are using me. Lord, your voice.
Well, it's been an interesting evening so far. It's about 10 o'clock at night. I went out about 10 miles, and it was rough out there. And I brought it in closer to shore now just to hang out. And the one thing that I really wanted to accomplish was to get fresh water in our freshwater tank. And I cannot figure out how the darn thing isn't working right now. So I'll probably wait till morning and then call the people in San Diego who installed it and see if they can give me some guidance. Meanwhile, we're looking at the beautiful lights of Ensenada from about 4 nautical miles offshore. Now what you're looking at here is guard zone 2, which is half a nautical mile, a perimeter around my boat. There is nothing within a half a mile of my boat, but if I go ahead and let it signal me with an alarm, in a few minutes it's going to sound an alarm. And there's nothing around me, which is kind of frustrating. So it's apparently set too sensitive, but I put it on auto, so it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, it's just one of the, many pieces of equipment here. One of the many pieces of equipment here. And incidentally, the fuel, we've hardly used any fuel. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Yeah, we're at about 65% fuel, which is plenty. It's a 212-gallon tank. What bugs me, though, is that I can't get my water tank filled. And if I go to water tankage here, what you see is I'm down to 32% on that. Well, it is a 228-gallon tank, so there's still a lot of water, fresh water, but you got to go way out to get the fresh water in through the water maker, and it just bugs me. Last time we went out, I went out with a helper here from Ensenada, and it worked. And now I'm doing the exact same thing, and it doesn't work. So we'll figure it out. There's a split screen display, and on the left you see my next waypoint. And it's still, at some distance, you see a little red X there, a couple of them. Those would take me right back into the marina. But I am not going to try to park this boat in the marina in what is really a tight slip at night with no help. So that ain't going to happen. But I'll kind of hang out here. It's nice, it's pleasant. and we'll see. Now, if I put my finger on this, it tells me that it's about 1 nautical mile away before I hit that waypoint, and it will alert me when I do. And I'm right on dead course for it. So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Meanwhile, it's kind of messy right now. I have a bottle of my non-alcoholic beer and my cigars and various paraphernalia. And to keep me entertained, we're on Starlink, you know. And right now I'm watching some stuff on Apple. What am I watching? Invasion. I just watched Foundation. Now I'm going to watch Invasion. And you know, it's just all the comforts of home. Obviously, downstairs is where I sleep. And yes, I could go to sleep if I wanted to, because I know the alarm's going to wake me up if it sees something. So there you have it. I'm just standing right here in the middle of the place right now. And darn, I wish I'd get my water maker to work. That makes me nuts. I'll figure it out. Well, it's 3:30 in the morning, and I've been cruising all night. And I have a big announcement to make. I finally figured out how the hell to use the water maker, how to put new fresh water in it. It's taken me all this time, but I finally figured it out. So now I'm going to switch the little deal here, and you can see. Okay, here it is. Here's what I wanted to show you. You can see that up tight, this up close. This is my fresh water. We're bouncing around in the waves, so it's going to bounce between 35% and about 30%. But it's filling, and I know it's filling because right down here, there are two, you can see them there, power and clean water. If they're blinking in nice unison without beeping real fast, that means it's actually working. Now, it takes a long time. So I'm going to be out here for a while, probably another 8 hours or so, just to get a full tank of water. Now, let me take you outside. I don't know if you can see much. It's nighttime. But it sure is pretty out here. You can see the lights of the city off in the distance. Here, I'll hold it this way, which is what Eris, my technician, tells me I'm always supposed to do. And the seas are very calm right now, which is great. And it's just wonderful. I'm refreshed. I know it's 3:30 in the morning, but geez, who gets to do this, huh? Who gets to be out at night? I had hoped there'd be stars tonight, but for whatever reason it clouded up again and there were no stars. Well, it is 6:30 on Monday morning, the 18th, and that's important because that's also my youngest son Matt's birthday, so I got to give him a call. See if he got the present I sent him. But here we are, 6:30 in the morning. Not a whole lot going on in the water. It's kind of a gray day. There's Isle de Santos, the one that looks like Camelback. And I just keep on keeping on, back and forth across this beautiful big bay, about 4 or 5 miles offshore, off the mainland. And I continue to fill up my fresh water and continue to enjoy the freedom of being out in the sea. Hey there, it is 7:30 in the morning, and you might be able to tell that the boat is coming close to a waypoint. I just set an arbitrary spot there north of those islands I was talking about last night. And then I'm just going to turn the boat around and leisurely make my way back to the southern end of this massive bay. Now, what's interesting, you might be wondering whether when you sail alone you get any sleep. And the answer is sure. You got to be careful, but you do. These are the backrests that go on this little couch here. And frankly, it's pretty darn comfortable. And you'll notice that I'm right here in the salon, and then I'm right real close to the nav station. And on that nav station, on those nav station maps, you set alarms so that if something comes, there are two radiuses and radii, so that when a boat comes within a mile of me, if it's on a collision course with me, or might be, then the alarm goes off. The second zone is a quarter mile from me, and if any boat comes within that, an alarm goes off. And the alarm is loud, so there's no likelihood whatsoever that you're going to sleep right through that. Instead, I catch cat naps, as I did last night. I probably got a grand total of maybe, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours sleep. Obviously, it's not what you want to live on long term, but it was fine. You know, it was fine. So just thought you'd be interested in knowing how someone gets through the night and still stays responsible, making sure he doesn't run into somebody else out on the ocean. Well, I thought you might be interested to see that we've changed course. Surprisingly, I'm really heading due south, exactly due south, which is kind of weird because you would think that these islands would be to the west of Ensenada. But the way the contour of the mainland is, you're actually looking south when you look out from Ensenada. And this is the Isla de I don't want to call it Isla Todos Santos, Isla Todos Santos. And there's two of them. And obviously there's a lighthouse at one end of these, as you can see. And we're going to get a little closer, and then I'll just kind of hug those and my way back in toward the bay. I'll also point out that most of the night we were running on only about 1,000 RPM. Now I pumped it up to 1,400 for both the Yanmars. I've got two inboard Yanmars, and try to keep it as close to 1,400 as possible. Maximum RPM on these engines is about 2,800. So I'm really coddling it because I'm in no hurry. I'm out here filling the water tank and enjoying the sea. So there's no rush. But if we got in a hurry, we would, I could crank it up a little bit and maybe do 8 knots, 8.5 knots. Right now, we're doing 4 knots, and we're kind of pushing against the waves, which are coming in from the, I would say, the southwest. So there you have it. And again, no wind to speak of here. I thought I'd provide some cinematic evidence that yes, I am alive after a night at sea. I'm a mess, of course, and I'll look forward to getting cleaned up later today. But in the meantime, this is about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on. I really, really, really enjoy this, and who wouldn't? I got actually a little seasick last night because it was really rough sea conditions. It settled down, but I wear a patch, a scopoline, I think it's called, patch. I've always done that whenever I'm out on the Pacific, and it's always served me very well. They say it makes you tired and your mouth dry, but I haven't had that side effect at all. It's a tiny patch. I used to wear them a lot when I took my boat across the Pacific. That was the Global Adventure. That was a long time ago. A long time ago. Anyway, so I just thought you might like to see that, you know, I'm actually doing this and not narrating it from a studio somewhere because someone else did pictures. New. No. Okay, talk to you soon. We're nice and close now to that lighthouse. And what I'm going to do, I've just set course on 91 degrees. And we're just going to head right down the side of these islands. I think on the nautical charts, there's a big square with dash marks all around these islands. So I suspect it is a marine habitat. It's interesting. I sometimes see small boaters, but I don't see any big commercial fishing operations right here. I think you got to get past these islands before they should fish in this particular area, which is kind of nice. So there you have it. And there seem to be like caves in this one place here. We'll see what it looks like. Very pretty. Well, I mentioned to you that, there's these two islands. There's the gap between them. And what I found interesting is that at the southernmost tip of the big of these two islands, the largest of these two islands, is a man-made structure. Looks like a big old dock that extends pretty far out into the water. It's pretty shallow water over there. Maybe it's for the lighthouse keeper or whoever's in charge of maintaining that island. I don't know. I'm not going to go any closer because there's too many rocks and things. But there you have it. I started filling the water maker. Finally figured out how to work it at 3:30 this morning. It is now 8:20 a.m. So in the space of almost 5 hours, we're now at over 50%. 50% is the low rating. It bounces around up to 60%. We started at about 30% full. And that's about right. It processes about 1/2 gallon per minute. And then you get nice, fresh, clean water. You might also wonder, why would we go out so far just to get water for the freshwater tanks? Well, it's a process, obviously. It gets distilled, and you have pure fresh water out of the sea using a water maker. And you go out away from shore because as you get closer into shore, you're going to hit a lot of impurities in the water. You might also get some kelp beds that kind of mess up the intake valves on the water maker. That's why it would be really foolish if you tried to fill up your water maker while you were sitting in a marina, for example. No matter how well maintained the marina is, that's just not good water. Well, I'm now on a course for the area known as Punta Banda. We passed that last night as I went farther out to sea. And you can check all that and the route that I've taken so far by going to our live map if you're a premium member, and I hope you are, because the fun is just beginning here as I get to learn my boat. Punta Gordon, or Punta, whatever it's called. I'll give you the correct name here in a minute. Punta Banda, Point Banda, and it forms the outer, what I would call the southern rim of the bay of Ensenada, and I'm just going to follow it around more toward the coast so we can see little bits and snippets of the people that the buildings and stuff that are between here and Ensenada. I might add, and you cannot hear it from here, but I'm still just passing that point where I said there were some signs of life. Now I see a boat over there. You can't hear it, but there's seals that you find in a lot of the islands off the coast of Southern California. You can hear them barking, though, but unfortunately I don't think you could hear them on phone. Okay, so we're on a bearing of 120 degrees right now. It's going to take me right into that little loop, Point Punta. I got to show you a very interesting cloud formation right over Point Punta. That's pretty cool. Looks like it's a volcano or something, but it's not. Just some clouds that have settled right over the top of that little point. Okay, I'm approaching Point Bunde, or I keep forgetting the Spanish name for it, but anyway, I'm approaching I tried to show you last night, folks, but it was kind of dark. So now I'm going to give you a better view of how those rocks stick out there. You got to be careful. They're not lit up at night at all. So you got to be kind of careful of that. And there's the point. And I am going to be going down closer into the bay, and then I'll just kind of follow it around and eventually make my way back to the marina. So there you have it. See a boat out there. There we go. Very calm day, very low winds, very pleasant out here. A little gray, but very pleasant. Well, it's about 9:20 in the morning, and right now I'm pulling up alongside Puntos Bandos. That's the name of this outcropping at the southern end of the, it's got several names. Bahia de Todos and All Saints Bay. And other people refer to it as the Ensenada Bay. So call it what you will. I'm going to run not real close to shore because I want to keep my water fresh as I continue to fill up my water maker. But we are seeing now some additional ships. I don't know if you can see that particular guy over the rigging. Let me try this. Okay, there he is, right there. And then there's another great big ship coming in, way off to my right, if I can find it. And it is behind me now. There it is. Looks like a big old container ship. If you can see it, I'm not sure you can. But it's big. Well, this boat has a lot of things to commend itself. The ice maker is not one of them. As I speak, there's a wet towel all over the floor because it went nuts on me. The trials and tribulations of having a boat, right? I wonder what Columbus did when his ice maker didn't work. Yeesh. Oh well, I'll survive. Meanwhile, let me just give you a quick pick. I'm pretty much at the point now where I'm going to start veering to the left and following the coast all the way around in this bay, back to somewhere in that direction, where the marina is. I see a bunch of stuff over there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know whether those are buoys. They seem to be, yeah. Who knows? I have a feeling maybe I shouldn't go over there. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, this area here, you start seeing houses and still pretty sparsely populated until you start getting more and more into the into the urban area, and we'll go there in a minute. Okay, I'm about 2.5 miles offshore right now, and there's different ways you can tell. Obviously, these days you just look at your GPS. You can put your finger on a location, and it will tell you how many miles off you are from that location. But it's about 2.5 miles, and one of the ways you can tell is that you can start making out individual trees. Perhaps not on this video, but a normal sighted person can start seeing individual trees. That usually happens at about 3 miles out. So once again, we are going to start making a left turn, a very gradual left turn, as we see the southern end of this bay. Well, as I cross the bay, a couple of things are happening. Number one, there's some big old boats now right in front of me, big freighters, that are obviously waiting their turn to get into the port of Ensenada. It's a commercial port. In addition to the cruise ships and other navigation that goes in there. I'm going to have to avoid those guys here in a minute, and I'm not going to go too close to the port itself. I might also add the wind's picked up nicely. If I was just starting the journey today, I would furl the sails and do some sailing. But after being up almost all night and knowing that I'm going to be back in a couple of hours, it's just not worth the work. We'll get that next time. We'll do that next time. Well, that's about as close as I want to get to a big old tanker. He's anchored, and the wind's blowing in right now. It's pretty stiff. And so even though I went well outside of him, I kept getting blown into him. And it's not just where they sit. You've got to figure out where their anchor line is dropping and what distance it might be extending just beneath the surface of the water. Anyway, we made it, no problem. And the southern part of the bay, I've discovered it's a bunch of tankers and crab pots. Oh my gosh, there's hundreds of them out there.
cheated and we lied and we tested, and we never failed to fail. It was the easiest thing to do. You will survive being bested. Somebody
Well,
behind
guess what? We're back home in the marina. There were 7 guys involved in getting this thing parked. And they did a fine job. One came on board the boat as I pulled into the marina past the wall, and he helped drive it right in as a professional captain. And then there were 7 guys grabbing cords and everything from me. And here we are. See, we're all safe and sound now, and life is good. Tomorrow morning, they'll be in to clean up both the inside and outside of the boat. Yeah. Cool.